Hello there, welcome back to Canada Challenge. We're going to continue where we left off. We're about to start Season 4. We picked up a couple of new staff members, kept our race engineers, changed out aerodynamics, and, well, our technical chief here. Give us a little bit of a boost. This next season might be a bit worse than our current season due to the limitations we have on design, but we'll do our best. Last season we ended up second, as you can see tied with Ferrari, but we still beat them, so that is good. And there were actually a few close fights there. Mercedes and 2 Alfa Romeo is just 6 points, but I think that's mainly due to the point system. So let's get the new season started here. The regulation is going to hit us pretty hard with the hit to, low speed cornering, but we'll deal with that when we get there. Merchandising we want to maximize, again, just more money. Race sim events, can't lessen them. Race days, can't lessen them either. Memorabilia room? Again, the money's so little that I don't care. Experience gain. Okay, so we're going to sacrifice last Stroll's experience here. It's better than the one that lowers control, because that would actually make us crash every week. So, yeah, this one. We don't want to touch that one. Driver appearance is okay. Stroll will take that at the better of our 2 drivers. We do need to boost Latifi a little bit here. We did beat the season objective, 6 or above. We did beat the long-term objective as well. Balance, looking good. Technical directive, this is one that is going to be big. As you can see, we're losing quite a bit here in terms of expertise on low, medium, and high. And that is going to be for everything, including the underfloor. We did minimize it on the underfloor as much as we could, but even then, this hit is going to be quite drastic. So I'm wondering where exactly we're going to be. We were among the best at low speed cornering before the hit came. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that's going to actually play out. No changes to how the point system works for this season. We're still going to be on the 10 points, only 8 position scoring. No real changes to anything else. So let's get into it. We're going to stick with Renault. We could probably do a lot better if we picked Red Bull. But Renault is part of the challenge, so we'll stick with them. We might loosen that up next season, though, because I think next season is going to be... Well, this is Season 4. I'm just talking Season 5. Season 5 is most likely going to be the last one, just due to limited time before... Well, 22 comes out. It's just a couple weeks away, even less than that. So we do need to plan accordingly. Okay, let's have a look here. Tondi is welcomed. ATR period started. Vaka welcoming. Very good. Diego, new contract. Team rosters. Let's have a look here. If Rebel wasn't bad enough, they actually picked up Charles Leclerc. Well, Leclerc. Been watching a few meme videos. They always give him very funny names. But yeah, this is going to be dangerous. And they actually got the reason there. Bottas in Ferrari. And Perez for Mercedes. What is this? Magnus and Gasly Alpha. Ocon and McLaren. Ricciardo Giovinazzi for Alpine. Behrman. That's good. And of course Schumacher. Guan Yu Zhou, Tsunoda, Albon, and Vettel. Okay. I'm looking forward to seeing how Ferrari's going to do. Mercedes, let's face it, I'm looking forward to all of these teams. I'm going to see exactly how well Perez does versus Russell. So yeah, the internal car report here. Let's have a look. Did lose a lot here. So before we do any development, let's just go to the analysis. Let's have a look at what we're at. Okay, so we're still... Currently, I'd say the regulations favored us quite a bit. Because we're still the best car in terms of low-speed cornering. But then again, this is the base car before any upgrades are applied. This is the balanced across-the-board setup. It's looking good, though. Like, surprisingly good. How are we looking against Ferrari? Ferrari is really bad now at low speed. Yeah, as I said, this is looking really good. Let me just double check. Red Bull is not faster than the DRS. Well, they are faster than DRS. I was just looking at the wrong side. So they're still going to be a threat, but I think we have a better chance. Leclerc is going to be the wild card there. Probably going to secure... The thing is, Leclerc could potentially help us, because when we have bad races, he might be able to snatch the win from Verstappen. So that's going to be an interesting one. Now, before we do any development, we're in Season 4. we can upgrade our facilities. Won't upgrade factory, there's no need. We don't really have any development issues there in making parts. But we will upgrade the design center. We will upgrade the wind tunnel, the CFD. And we'll also upgrade the suspension and car part test center, mainly because we need the extra cooling at this stage. It is gonna, you know, cost a lot of money. Like the monthly upkeep here is gonna go up by 70, 100, 300, 500, almost a million. So an extra 12 million there, but that's fine. We do want to upgrade the team hub and of course the race sim as well. Extra experience is always good. And as I said, the operations facilities here, helipad we could do for just more money. But generally, I don't feel like any of these are really worth it. Of course, if you want to invest in it, that is your choice. But to me personally, not really something I would invest in. Let's get started with the design for the car parts. We are going to make a suspension immediately. Because ATR, we'll be putting all of our ATR into said suspension. Because, again, can't use wind tunnel ATR on, well, wind tunnel CFD on the underfloor, the rear wing, and the front wing this season. We are going to go with, I think, race performance. Like, our cooling is still going to be way better than last season. So I think we're just going to go with race performance here. It's going to help a little bit on high-speed corners. There's still quite a substantial boost all across the board. So we're going to go for this. It's, again, we still have very, very bad cooling, but it's a risk I'm willing to take. And we have 10 engineers. Let's put 2 engineers on this project. That way we should have time to do sidepods or chassis, I think. Probably sidepods. Chassis takes a very long time to make, just in terms of manufacturing. And we only have 72 days. And this way we can get underfloor and a wing done as well, I think. So, underfloor project, of course, we are going to do it. There's no reason not to. And thing is here, the only thing we're lacking here is actually the high-speed performance. And then we are actually really good. So, we are going to be making a high-speed performance underfloor here. I just don't see any way around it. We're going to lose a tiny bit in low speed here, but that's negligible. Tiny. So I can accept that. We could go full on low speed here, and that would actually also be quite a substantial boost. Would remain where we are in terms of high speed. But let's face it, we're going to be making more underfloor, so let's make a high speed one to start with. Could potentially just do a balanced one as well. That could work actually, just going balanced at this point, because we have a very good, again, the underfloor is very good right now. It is the best. And, well, the best one out of everyone. So I think we're just gonna... I think actually we're just gonna stick with balanced. It's a weird thing to say, but I think it's the... sorry. I want to maximize. Let's go high speed. Get that a little bit up there, but... I know, I'm very indecisive right now, and I apologize. Side of that, we go optimized aero. Honestly, I think balance is the best option here. Like, if we go high-speed performance, yeah, it will be a pretty substantial boost. It would make us the best at high-speed dirty air as well, though. Let's do it. At this point, it doesn't matter anyways. We are going to have to put 5 engineers on this, just so that we actually have time to make the underfloor before that first race. So we're going to do that. And since we don't actually have any particular concerns in terms of, you know, this, we can do whatever we want to actually with the front wing. The car is really, really good compared to our competitors. What I honestly might want to do here is make a DRS-focused rear wing. I think that would be a good idea. So, if we go high-speed performance, stat boost DRS, doesn't really. Optimized aero. Okay, the fact that there isn't a preset that pulls this thing all the way to the right disappoints me immensely, and I don't know how I haven't realized so far. Let's see here. What do we do then? Could go optimized aero, but even that lowers DRS delta. But the rear wing here for sure needs some work, so... I think we might just once again go balanced. let's be fair, the drag reduction is nice. It helps. But what I really want to get up there is the DRS delta. So we'll go balanced. We'll probably go balanced front wing 2 later. This will be done with plenty of time to spare. We will probably not get a front wing done before the first race, but that's fine. And honestly, I didn't expect our car to be this good stat-wise. I thought we'd still be a bit further behind the pack, particularly with the amount of loss we took to because of the regulation changes, but it seems like the AI got hit even harder than we did. So that is a tad disappointing. Race team upgraded completed, very nice. Porsche has some excuse me. Porsche has some development points, so you can just keep them for now. Car part test center in poor condition, not a concern. We'll get that level when we get there. And the race sim has been upgraded. There was one thing, the staff. Should probably put the points in. Underfloor, of course. And for Tonda here, we might actually just go for the RS Delta and get that extra boost now going forward, because let's face it, we're gonna need to get our DRS into a better position. For race engineers, it's pit crew management until their maximum. It's just the best choice there. And we'll have our first design, which is suspension, done right now. Very nice. And we'll of course manufacture it, 4 of them, just do it normally. Should be okay. And we will start a new project immediately. So what I'm thinking here is, let's see, if we do this, how long would it take to make? We're going to do it on race performance. It's just the best way to make the chassis. We could of course go engine cooling, but I don't think that's an issue. We wouldn't be able to make them in time, so we'll go sidepod. Chassis take a lot of time to make, just manufacturing. So honestly, if we'd done the chassis first instead of the suspension, that would probably have been better. We'll once again go race performance. It's just good for us. And again, it's a small boost across the board, but it is probably not worth it on second thought. Might just do the front wing. Yeah, we'll do front wing, yeah. It'll be done after Bahrain, but it should be okay to do this. And I'm really tempted to just go optimize cooling here, because it will help with the issues that we've had, and I kind of do want to get that cooling boosted up. And even if we go cooling, it'll still be an upgrade on every single, cornering ability. So let's do it. We'll take the cooling focus front wing. Never thought I'd say those words. And as you can see, it'll be done 2 weeks after the Grand Prix, which is acceptable. It could be worse, but yeah, I'm a bit baffled, I'll be honest, about how our car is currently behaving in terms of stats, which of course makes it a bit harder to make decisions. New project design. We will make a chassis, I think. Then again, we could go cooling. Don't think it really does too much though, so it would actually lower our high-speed cornering. It would lower some stuff, but I think we might want to, just from a gameplay perspective. Let's try and get cooling up, since we are in a dominant position. We'll focus a little bit on cooling this season. Take this as more of a development one, and hopefully that should help with the incidents that we had last season, when we had a lot of crashes, a lot of problems. Car part test center, team hub boat upgraded, very nice. And 2025 season is starting, very good. Looking forward to seeing the pre-season testing results. If the car still is, the best one, it still remains first. High-speed cornering is what we're lacking at, cooling, and of course DRS. But I'd say it's looking really, really promising. Might be ending a tad too soon here, which is probably the influence of the fact that we changed our staff, because they directly boost your pass quite a bit. So picking up Tondi, picking up Vasha. Again, I need to check his name, because I did it at one point and then I forgot, and now I'm just butchering it again. Brake cooling from suspension sim, very good. And but yeah, I think we're looking really, really decent here. Underfloor manufacturing completed. Very nice. We also have a new, sorry, not manufacturing, design complete. Very nice. And if we rush them, we should get them out for the race. Very nice. Now, I do also have a new ATR period, which means that we are going to be making Sidepods with ATR. And as far as I know, ATR doesn't actually affect cooling, so we'll do race trim when we use ATR. And we'll do cooling otherwise. I think that is a good compromise, honestly. And as you can see, this will actually help us a tiny bit with the acceleration, bit with top speed, and be generally a good upgrade. Can't complain. Do I want to put 5 engineers in this project, though? I think we'll put 4 for now, and then we'll switch one over to maybe the rear wing. Balance them out a little bit. Front wing, sorry. And it'll be done slightly sooner, but still, it'll take some time. Chassis will also be done just before the race at this point, so that is looking good. I think everything is where we want it to be at this stage. I might be wrong. Chassis has been manufactured. Good. Factory is in poor condition. We will actually refurbish this one. It's good to keep it up there. Could wait. It's not really something we need to stress with, but it's just something that is nice. And we are going to rush to chassis. It's going to cost us money, but it's fine. New project. What do we want to develop? I think we're actually at the point where we have developed everything once the Sidepods front wing is done. So what I'm thinking we do here is make another suspension immediately. We could make an underfloor, of course, but we'll do a suspension. And I'm tempted to do optimized cooling. And as you can see, even then, it will still be a huge boost. If we do race performance, it's going to be a bit of a bigger boost. So it's still going to be an upgrade in terms of brake cooling. So since we used ATR last time around, I'm still in the min-max mindset of, being behind. We should do cooling. We won't get the maximum out of the boost, but, well, we still get the boost. But at the same time, we'll do cooling. We need to get it up. So I'm just going to take a couple of minutes here to explain my scatterbrain strategy, because I've really been scatterbrained at the start of this. I guess kind of baffled by the fact that we were ahead of the Red Bull. Technically, our car is currently the best. There's no real discussion there. And I'm still in the min-max mindset, but we can actually take it a little bit slower now. We can focus a little bit more on cooling. So I've been going a lot of back and forth here. Apologies for that. But generally, I think that we have a car that is dominant now. This will be a stabilizing season, where we'll basically try and get brake cooling, get everything good. And then hopefully the next season we can push for, a 1-2 in the championship, which I think is viable if we just keep things neat and tidy this season, get our cooling up, among other things. Just basically maintain our current position. So that is the idea. Let's head to Bahrain, though, the first, testing ground, and we'll see how it goes. I just realized that in my scatterbrainness, I didn't actually compare our car to our competitors after putting on the new parts. So we're going to do that now. The rear wing here is going to help with the high speed, be a slight boost for everything else. Pretty good. We're going to get that on both cars, but I'm just going to show it here on Latifi's. We have underfloor, we have sidepod. We actually only have excuse me, we only have the one underfloor ready here for P1, but I think we might have the second one ready for tomorrow, so we'll see. Basically P3 in quali, we'll see about that. But we'll put this on Latifi's car. He probably needs it the most, so we'll do that. Pretty decent upgrade there. Again, high speed is kind of what we were lacking. And of course, we're going to put on the new suspension, which is not actually going to boost our ranking compared to anyone else, but it's still a pretty good upgrade. So there we are. Going to put those 3 parts out on the other car. And yeah, that should be it. We still have, of course, a chassis. It's isn't done yet. So I'll set up the other car, and we'll have a look at the analysis compared to, say, Red Bull once we get done with this weekend. All right, quali is done, and there's a few concerning things there. I made a big error for Latifi. As you can see, it's out in Q2. That's down to me wanting to be a bit cheap, save a few tires. I miscalculated, and it backfired horribly. Let's just put it like that. On the other hand, the main concern here is that you can see Leclerc, and then you can see Verstappen. There's 6 tenths between them. Now, we are close to Leclerc, but Verstappen is going to be hugely challenging to beat. We're still 6 tenths behind in Bahrain, so that's going to be a very interesting time. Now, what we did actually do here is try and save 2 sets of soft, because I want to try a funny little thing here, which is the soft, medium, soft. It is pretty decent, and it should be the quick strategy. We can, of course, go for another set of mediums if we want to say a bit earlier, go medium, medium. That also works, and it'll still be pretty quick, so it's not a bad idea. You can basically, as you can see, get the same time. So if we jump onto the first set of mediums a bit early, we can still make something out of it. So we're going to start with this, work from there. If we get 2 sets of softs into play, we'll do it. But if we don't, it's not really I won't cry over it. Let's put it like that. So we'll go aggressive with the push on the fuel, overtake. We'll do that for both, and hopefully, yeah, we can have a bit of a good race. But Red Bull is once again looking incredibly dangerous. We have the best car, but Verstappen is just a menace.
It's lights out, and away we go.
Light out and away we go indeed. So in terms of tyres, everyone is on the softs. Top 10s are running used softs, which gives us a bit of an advantage here. Degradation is a little over a tenth for the soft per lap, so... Is it a tenth or is it a few hundreds? I don't remember. Let's just double check that so I don't give fake information. Yes, you can see the degradation of the soft is a tenth and a half actually. So, seeing that they have used softs that have been used in qualifying, we should have tire advantage. Quite a significant tire advantage. It looks like Stroll there did the same thing Alonso did this year on Hamilton in that same corner. And you can actually see here just how effective those tires are. We get both cars immediately. Latifi's gotten up a couple places as well. And I really, really want to try and see if we can push away now. But I don't think we're going to be able to do it. I still want to give it a try though. And if we can keep Stroll outside of DRS to the Red Bulls, that's actually going to be huge. Particularly if Leclerc is able to hold Verstappen up. Which sounds like a silly thing to say, but it is the reality of the situation. So for now, we're just going to allow Stroll to keep running a bit of push here. Need that gap to be probably a couple of seconds, so we'll see. Tire, you know, degradation is going to play into it when we keep on pushing the tires like this, and looks like we aren't really going to be able to keep ahead. They are slowly gaining, as you can see here. And with DRS, it just won't happen here. So we'll tuck in with them. It's still just one big DRS train, luckily. So it's not necessarily a bad thing there. Science goes off, causes a little bit of trouble for Latifi. But I think this is good. We'll focus on just having Stroll in the top 3, just running, kind of relaxing. We're going to have him recharge his energy. And we'll try and move both our drivers as far up as we can here. We are going to have to probably deploy a little bit here for Latifi, so that he gets back into that DRS train, and he already has. But we'll keep things moving here. We'll lap around We'll pit around lap 16, 17 probably. So let's see how we are when we get there. Norris has actually ran wider and created a bit of a gap, so the DRS train has been detached. We'll see if they can catch up.
I don't know, the grip is just all over the place.
Well,
Right on the edge.
it didn't take long before we had our first incident, unfortunately.
Now we see the Williams here.
And well,
They spun the car. What a
Latifi had a bit of a spin. Stroll's still doing good, but this kind of does cause a little bit of concern here. We are going to be pitting fairly soon though, and in terms of tire wear, as you can see, the others are starting to get low as well.
And there's an overtake from
But
Williams.
yeah, that's gonna suck a lot for Latifi. He was up fighting with Magnussen and Perez, so We're going to have to try and make something out of this. It's going to be a bit more difficult. Might just pit a bit earlier, put him on 2 medium strat. Well, he is in the back, so we could actually just give him immediately the second set of softs and have him run in free air and close that gap. I think that is the better option. So we'll just have him go aggressive. He'll run down to about 30%. And then we will pit him. I'm thinking of stretching Stroll just a tiny bit here. Then again, if you consider degradation, it might not be worth it to do so. So I think we'll go aggressive now. Get a little bit of push going. Bearman does pit. And we'll try and make something out of this. We're still in a very good position, don't get me wrong. It's just unfortunate there for Latifi having that little incident of his. So, yeah. We'll push full attack now for Stroll for a couple of laps here. Gasly is pitting. Actually, a lot of cars are pitting, as you can see. So they are going to be pitting these next coming laps. And I think we'll just do the same with Stroll. Get him in on the medium. We could get him out in here on the soft and have him, you know, work through. But I think it's better to use softs at the end. So we'll get him in. We'll do the same for Latifi now. And we'll get Latifi in on another set of softs.
Red Bull gained a place.
Mainly just so that he can try and close down that gap. That's going to be the idea there. So neither of the Red Bulls have pitted yet, which means that we are going to have somewhat of an advantage now that we do pit. Haven't really been able to take advantage of our earlier tire advantage, but that is fine. Leclerc did pit with us. Let's see if we come out ahead of him. We actually were slower on the pit stop there, 2.7 seconds. It's versus a Red Bull pit stop, so let's face it, that is understandable. They are pretty quick. Get down to standard, and hopefully we don't lose DRS at least. So we'll have a look here at what Leclerc's gone on. Leclerc's gone on the hards, which is going to benefit us. They're actually really, really slow compared to our tires, and it'll take about 20 laps for mediums to become comparable to hards. So basically, we'll be quicker than him for the next 20 laps. We want to tune down Latifi's tire usage immediately. We need to try and make these softs last a little bit longer than, you know, just a second.
And a new position just gained
And
by Williams.
as you can see, Verstappen is actually going kind of long. So what I'm thinking here is we try and get by Leclerc. We're going to deploy. And we're going to try and just get outside of his DRS. We could probably have done this on the main straight. It probably would have been way more effective. But this works too, I think. If we can, of course, get away. That's going to be the challenging part here. Verstappen does now pit. We should come out ahead of him, you know, by quite a margin. And this actually benefits us, even if Leclerc is still with us. Because we now have gaps to Verstappen, we have gaps to Gasly. Verstappen went onto the mediums, so he's going to be pitting again, same as us. But a lot of hard runners here that potentially Latifi should just straight up eat up here if we just give him the ERS to use. So we'll keep Stroll running right now. We'll keep him neutral. That should be okay. I think Leclerc's going to catch up to us. We just don't have that much straight line speed. Latifi here kind of in no man's land, mainly because there is a huge DRS in front of him. Well, 4 cars now, but he still has to make some work. But we'll try and get something going here, and hopefully we can keep Verstappen at bay. There's 4.5 seconds now. We'll see if we can extend that somewhat. We've had a weird incident here with many crashes, as you can see. VSC, this could also be just straight up a red flag because they're all parked there. This, of course, causes a ton of pain for Latifi because he was one of the parked cars. Yeah, not much we can do about that. Latifi just keeps on having bad luck, I guess. We are still running with Leclerc. The gap has actually widened, so things are going well. But Latifi did get kind of boned there, because now that he has Albon ahead of him, that's one, but there's also now 12 seconds that he lost to cars in front. So taking that into consideration, it's tough, but we're just gonna have to try and make the best out of it here. We don't really have any other option. So Verstappen is back down to 4.5, and we'll see if we can keep him there. Latifi is now running ahead of Albon, and we'll see if we can catch up to the cars in front, maybe get him into the points by the end of the race. I unfortunately made a mistake here, calling Latifi in a tad bit too late. I ordered the pit stop probably too late, so he did another lap here. But I tried to get him in at, well, as close to 30% as we could. it's still not bad. He's going to lose about a second, maybe. It's still not going to be horrible, but at the same time, it's not going to be great. But we get him in now. He's going to do his final stop. And he's going to have to make these tires last to the end, which shouldn't be a problem. He'll have Tsunoda in front. Should be overtaken immediately, more or less. And I think that should be okay. For Stroll, looking good. We have now 6 seconds to Verstappen. And we're still running with Leclerc, which is honestly fine. I'd rather take a fight with Leclerc than Verstappen with how the stats are in this game. So that is fine. Latifi gets Tsunoda. And for now, we just need to keep Stroll going. We want to stretch him to, well, 41. Basically, we can afford to stretch him here because of the fact that Leclerc is running hards. He might run him to the end. I kind of doubt it. I don't actually remember if that was an option. No, he's going to be pitting either lap 36 or lap 40. So we can just cover him, or we can try and jump him. That's basically it. But we'll be going on to the soft seat to the end, and I think that is perfectly fine. So currently it's looking very good here. Latifi, again, he has pitted. We just need to have him, you know, run as he can right now. Might want to just deploy ERS here so that we get away from Tsunoda, because Tsunoda is causing some... it's slowing us kind of down here. And we also had a multiple cars crash, virtual safety car. Do we want to take advantage of this and pit? It's lap 38. If we pit onto new mediums, they will last the end for sure. So I think we'll do that. We'll take advantage of this. We'll pit onto mediums. They will last the end. Of course, we're going to come out... We're actually going to come out not too far back. And I think that is the play here. We take advantage of the virtual safety car. We pit. And as you can see, Leclerc is doing the same thing. So it's not necessarily a bad idea. It's a bit unfortunate, once again, for Latifi. But that has basically been his MO this game.
And there's the hit. And it's crystal clear who was in the wrong there.
Okay, so Alpine spun and the Haas graced it. Yeah, everyone's pitting now. We came out in second. We actually lost out a ton. We went into the pits at the same time. I might need to re-watch that because we're currently 3 seconds behind Leclerc. They went on to softs though. That's going to be interesting. Can they make that work to the end? Latifi didn't lose out completely with the virtual safety car here, but as you can see, everyone is on new tires. And again, what I'm going to be questioning here is just straight up, are those softs going to be lasting till the end? I don't think so. And I think they'll be falling off hard. So because of the way the pit stops worked out, Leclerc might just get enough of a gap where we can't catch up to him. So what I'm thinking is we just rerun, we save our tires, we save a bit of fuel, and if we're catching Leclerc, it's going to have to be up to Verstappen. I don't see any other way around this, because their tires are a lot quicker right now. But yeah, the pit stop shenanigans where you get stuck, they hopefully they've smoothed that out, because it's very, very annoying. So we'll keep things going for now, and we'll see towards the end here what we can do with Latifi. Again, it's basically 12 seconds after points. We'll have to try and get a push going there towards the end, but Latifi has basically had everything that could go wrong for him go wrong. He pits early, everyone gets to pit under VSC, spins at the beginning of the race, gets blocked by some other drivers having a bit of a tomfoolery. So yeah, Latifi can't really blame him this race. The first error was his, but other than that, he's just been very, very unlucky. And right now, Giovinazzi is causing him even more grief, so we'll have to see what we do with that. And currently, I don't think Verstappen is catching. No, he isn't. He's not catching Leclerc, so guess we'll fight Verstappen for second here, because again, pit stop shenanigans. Leclerc got 3 seconds under VSC while pitting. I don't think our pit stop was particularly slow. I guess we just got blocked. So, who knows? We'll see. Latifi did not get away, which is a bit unfortunate, but we now have Behrman behind us, which I think should be a bit easier to defend against than Gio, maybe. But as I said, we'll push what we can, see if we can get into a position here where we can actually get into the points. And we'll be fighting Verstappen here probably for second, unless Leclerc's tires really drop off. We'll see in about 10 laps times. We've had an incident. Multiple cars crashed, which is actually Verstappen and Gasly here. So that's a bit of an interesting one. Both are still running, so I would expect that there will be no safety car. But at least Gasly is going to have to pit. And depending on how hard, they might have some tire damage, maybe? Oh, yeah. Basically turned into him. That was pretty egregious. So, no safety car. This does make our job of catching Leclerc even harder, so I'll just have Stroll push fuel. And Latifi now won't get neither Gasly nor Verstappen, I think. But we will be closer to fighting for points. So it's a bit of a weird one. Honestly, I don't know what to really do here. The race has been kind of mayhem from start to finish. But I think we can just speed it up because, again, not much we really can do in terms of lap time, say, even while pushing. We're running just a tenth quicker. So gaining 5 seconds over these next 10 laps would require half a second, sorry, gained. But what I do want to check here is if we were to push these tires, yeah, they won't last to the end from this point because degradation is fairly high here. So still about 10 points behind points there for Latifi. So we'll see what he can do. Another yellow flag. No free positions though by the looks of things. But as I said, we'll keep things going here. Currently we're gaining 3/10, so it's starting to shift slowly into our favor. But it's still going to be a bit rough, I think. Magnussen and Norris actually pits. That puts us even closer to points. Up into 9th. But still, we're 9 seconds away. And while some cars ahead of us are starting to really, really lose tire, it's just 7 laps to go. Oh, Leclerc actually pits. Okay. Hello. Things suddenly open up with Stroll. Even if Leclerc went on to... That's just really scrubby soft. Leclerc will be a lot quicker than us, but 16 seconds quicker? I don't think that's going to happen, so the virtual safety car kind of helped us out there. And again, Latifi is going to be... I don't see him catching Gasly or Verstappen, honestly. They just have a bit too much more in their tire. The question is if the guys in front there again are going to be able to keep this things going. That's going to be the question here. And as you can see, Leclerc is gaining on Stroll. I'm just curious just exactly how much, because I think he gained over 2 seconds this lap. Well, not really, 1.4. And Ocon does pit. Now, are we going to come out ahead of him? We are. Latifi in the points, which means potentially the others will also pit. But right now, they're actually running quicker than we are, so they probably won't. Even though 25, 29, 30. But now, though, we'll just focus on getting Latifi into a position where he can fight for that final point. Bottas does pit. And we do come out ahead. Very good. Leclerc is eating into Stroll's advantage here, but he needs way more laps than he has. So we're pretty much safe there. The only thing is if we want to try and push in case more people pit. But I think we have the gap that we need there. So Russell pits. Should get him. Very good. So that virtual safety car actually screwed over so many people by picking the soft there. Latifi kind of making a pretty good comeback. Okay, so this will be the start of final lap. We're actually behind Show, which is scary because we could lock up into the back of him. Luckily we didn't. So we kind of need Latifi to maintain now, so let's go aggressive. And that might actually be enough, because as you can see, tires here are dead. Paris's tires are also dead, but it's 16 seconds. Even if they are completely dead, there's no way that we will be able to, you know, do something with them. The fact that Stroll is still running behind Show, though, scares me. But he did win. Very, very good. This is a great start to the season. And we do need to try and just have Latifi now defend, push his fuel. Anything he can, he will do. Because let's face it, 6 isn't great, but it's a good haul of points for, you know, doing kind of last to first, well, last to 6 in this case challenge. So we'll take it. It's not bad. Stroll wins. Kind of helped there by the safety car, because Leclerc picked the wrong strategy. Paris made that work somehow. I think his tires were probably just a couple laps away from exploding. Latifi up into 6th from a pretty bad starting point too, so can't complain too much. With this driver championship is as follows. Gasly's actually getting himself a podium. Perez did 4th in his first race for Mercedes. I have to say it's pretty good. And the Haas scored points in it. Well, Behrman scored points in his first race, which is pretty amazing. We're 1 point ahead of Red Bull, and I think we're going to have probably a bit of an interesting season in front of us now. Development points for both our lads is also very, very good to see. And as I said, we'll get Latifi's braking up to 90, and then we'll balance him out too. So get the braking in there. For Stroll, we're going to have to put it into cornering. And I do remember a couple of things that I had forgotten. So let's first just check the car analysis with the current upgrades. As you can see, 3rd. Basically, I'd say this is the best car if you ignore cooling. We're 2nd in high speed, pretty good acceleration. Still lacking a little bit under DRS, but altogether, our car is reasonably quick compared to a Red Bull. And as you can see, they actually have some upgrades here that are upping the top speed and DRS, I think. They are the only one beating us on the high speeds. So we're still lacking a bit in top speed compared to them, but at the same time, we're not that far behind in the high speed here too, so I think we can be happy. The other thing I forgot is that I promised to have a look at the drivers, if there was any interesting ones, so we'll do that just now, because again, I am a bit of a silly one in terms of that. So we actually have an interesting one already with 18-year-old 50. Maybe not that interesting. I thought it was 59. This one. History. This is his first season. So it's still going to take a couple of seasons before we can do anything. In terms of highest ranked, it's still Behrman. So unfortunately, not really any huge talents here. The only ones of interest in that would be Kamal here. Honestly, I can just scout both of these and we'll have a look at if they have a good stat distributions, because that's also important. Not just their average, but stat distributions as well. So unfortunately, no really talented drivers. And once again, I just want to apologize for being very, very scatterbrained during this part. It's been incredibly hot where I live, and it's taken a toll on it's taken a toll on me, which is weird because it's just hot. CFD sim upgrade completed, very nice. And we'll jump straight into our next race here in Saudi Arabia. And hopefully we'll get Latifi into Q3 this time around. Things are looking kind of meh at the moment. As you can see, we qualified 4th and 7th. Latifi did need to have a second run with fresh sets in Q2 to get into Q3. So the car is good, but our drivers are still a tad below the likes of Verstappen, Leclerc. So you can imagine that we are going to be trying to take advantage of having a superior car this season. I think we can win, honestly. Again, car is better than expected, so it does give us some opportunities for victory. Now with that said, we're starting 7th and 4th, so depending on how the other teams develop their cars, we might have trouble scoring points towards the end of the season, so we really need to maximize our gains here if we can. Expected strategy at Jeddah is a one-stopper, most likely, for both teams, hard and medium, or a cheeky two-stopper with a soft included. In terms of performance here, tyres follow a fairly simple graph. Softs are quicker than the mediums for about 10 laps. The mediums are quicker than the hards for about 10 laps as well. So with that in mind, we can make some strategies there. Pit lane time loss is 25 seconds, 50% chance of a safety car. If we do get a safety car, you save about, well, almost 10 seconds. So we'll have to see what we do there. It is Jeddah. It is very accident prone. So wouldn't surprise me if we do get some sort of safety car. Now, as you can see here, doing medium to hard, just a one-stopper, is pretty fast. Well, each strategy is actually pretty equal. But I think we are going to be stretching the medium just a tad here, and that would be more beneficial. But of course, we'll have to see, because we do want to try and jump cars in the pits. It does help us out a great deal if we can just latch onto the quicker drivers' DRSs. Could also probably put in a new engine. I don't think I started the grading yet, but it's still okay. So we'll see what we do. We'll keep Stroll on the standard one as a warning clock. I am kind of tempted to start on the softs here, for particularly Latifi. But what we've seen from the last few races here is that a huge DRS train forms, and then it's kind of a rough job trying to pick our way through that DRS train. So since Latifi is starting pretty high up already, we're just going to allow him to try and stay within that top 7 DRS train, and we'll see if we can pick our way up to the front. So that is the strategy. Let's see if we can actually execute it.
It's almost time for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix.
So I see a lot of medium tires, some softs in the back.
And away we go.
See a hard runner. So Leclerc chosen to start on the hards. Sainz has chosen hards as well, same as Magnus and Norris. There's a couple of soft runners, but generally just a lot of medium and hard, which is what you'd expect here. Most of them are on a one-stopper. The Ocon and Schumacher would probably be the only two stoppers currently in play here. Decent start. We have retained position. We haven't lost out anything, and we actually have both Ferraris squeezed between us. Verstappen, Leclerc. I do want to try and find Leclerc quickly here now, because he's already half a second behind Verstappen. You can see the gaps further back are all closer, with the exception of Bottas. Like he's actually got him here. Well, he's trying to get him. And I think he pulled it off. Very nice. So yeah, we do want to try and fight Gasly. We want to try and fight Leclerc. I want to try and get up to Verstappen, because Verstappen is running those mediums, same as us. So we do want to stick with him if we can. That would probably be very beneficial to us. With things being as they are now, though, it's basically, well, become a pretty stable position. There we go. Stroll making a move. Can he maintain it? Looks like he did. And we'll have DRS next lap. And then basically that's when things settle down a bit. So we'll see where we're at by the time we get there. Latifi is still trying to get Sainz, I think. Did get fastest lap. And again, we do want to try and get by Leclerc and play with Verstappen here. Just stick with him if we can.
You would have DRS.
DRS has been enabled now. We still have a little bit of energy, so we're going to use it to use as much of it as possible before we just kind of pull in line and start to recuperate. I see Latifi is actually fallen outside of DRS here. Did he run wide, or did he get blocked or something weird? Because that is... Sorry, I'm actually on the wrong car. That's actually really bad. We'll have to see what we do with Latifi. Don't have energy, can't really push anything here. So that gap is going to continue to grow.
And a new position,
which is bad news, unless, of course, we have Leclerc maybe take the lead. It's actually going down, so... Bit of a weird one. We'll have to see, though, if, you know, we can get Latifi back into the DRS train, or if he's kind of lost course at this point. We'll see. Stroll is still in top 3, and hopefully we can stay there when we pit around lap 18, 19 probably. Had an incident with multiple cars crash, safety car. Norris is one of the, well, victims. Now this is actually really good for the soft runners, because, well, I guess someone on a free pit stop, but as you can see, the gaps aren't even big. So we're just going to conserve. This is really good though for Latifi. It'll allow him to have a chance of getting back into the DRS train. As you can see, we have been
Who's that just
saving a bit there
Let's
with
have a look.
Stroll,
Now
trying to
just
get some
take a
energy.
look at the McLaren.
And the McLaren locked up and sent, I think, well, I think it was Russell.
Okay, there's a big crash.
Nope, it was
Okay, copy.
it was not Russell. It was the other Mercedes driver, Paris. Paris got deleted from this world. But yeah, as I said, this is good for Latifi. Actually, safety kind of benefits him. And of course, as I said, those two soft runners are going to be able to pit, be back at the... They're going to be back at the pack, but they'll have fresh tyres. And as you can see here, they're pitting, as well as Norris, who of course has got front wing damage. So for now, we'll just allow this safety car to run its course. And this does give us an opportunity here again to try and get some overtakes done once it restarts. We're getting close to the point now where the mediums and the hards are equivalent, and within a couple of laps, the hards are going to start being the better tyre.
Safety car will be in.
So that's going to be a bit of a challenge here, but we now have a lot of extra fuel here that we can push with, and of course we are going to be using ERS to try and get the overtakes done. So as long as we can stick with Leclerc, have him behind us, we're going to be happy. And again, really want Latifi to try and get past the Ferraris. And he is sending it by the looks of things. He's at least close. Stroll has made it past Leclerc. He's now playing with Verstappen. Honestly, I think we'll just put neutral here. I should have done that for Latifi too.
Copy.
Because as long as we can just stay where we are, and Latifi doesn't get detached, I can see Sainz is kind of losing out already as well.
DRS is
But as long as
enabled.
we stay where we are for the first pit stop, I think we'll have a good opportunity here. And that is what we will be going for. So we'll keep things going. First pit stop will be, again, around lap 19, 18. Maybe we stretch a couple of laps there, we'll see. But for now, it's looking good. We are getting very close to that first pit stop window. We're basically already in it. And the question is, how early do we want to pit? Do we want to gamble and go in earlier for track position? Or do we want to take it a tad bit slower and go for, you know, basically playing it safe? I think what we are going to do is pit Stroll this lap and just try and get him in, get him on the hards. It's a tad bit early still, don't get me wrong, but I think it's worth it. And the gaps we have here doesn't really allow for Latifi to come in on the same lap. It's going to be very, very tight. We have about sometimes up to 3 second stops. And let's face it, Latifi is not 3 seconds behind us. We'd be putting him in a bad position if we do pit him. So we'll be pitting him this following lap. And we'll see now if anyone else follows us in. Verstappen, Gasly. Let's see how many actually jump us in the pits here. So for once, I think we actually jumped the others. That is a good feeling. Usually we do get kind of stuck in the pits. But we'll take that. We actually come out though in kind of a bad position. But it is what it is. We kind of needed to pit here. So give the overtake. Try and get by this train of cars as quickly as possible. And it's going to be a bit of a problem, I think. But the quicker we can get through, the better. Because the more, say, Russell Verstappen gets held up, the better for us. Now, Leclerc, Sainz, Magnussen didn't actually pit here. So we have Latifi pitting. And he's going to come out actually in a good position here to potentially hold up the other two cars. He comes out ahead of Verstappen, so that is good. And as I said, it will have Stroll just try and make his way through the cars here. There are hard runners, they won't be pitting for a long time, which means that we really need to try and get by them soon, because they are going to be holding us up quite significantly here. And as you can see here, Latifi is already back to where Stroll is, so we'll just have him recharge for now. And we'll do the same
And
with
there's
Stroll.
an overtake from Williams.
And I'll try and pick our way through this as quickly as we can, without, of course, hopefully getting eaten up by, say, Verstappen and Russell. We'll see how this goes. We're having an incredibly hard time getting anything done. We have Norris in front of us, we have Tsunoda, we have Ocon, and I cycled the ERS I think 4 times now, and just Stroll can't get by them. It just isn't possible. So it sucks, but we might have lost out big time because we get stuck in this train. And right now, everyone ahead of us still needs to pit, but the gaps here, particularly for Leclerc, is massive. So can we come out ahead of him? No. Leclerc has this in the bag now. Can basically just coast to the win. And as you can see, Verstappen is also nestled in between us here. So it's not looking very promising right now. Should probably take this into consideration before I pitted. But then again, stretching the tires, I don't know if it really would have worked. Well, it worked for... It's kind of working for Norris here, but he really stretched it to the end. Is he going to go softs, I think? As you can see, Verstappen did overtake us there. So, again, our drivers are our weakness, and the concern now is actually going to be Verstappen just running away with it. But if we can stick with Verstappen, we might be able to make something work, but at the same time, it's going to be rough here. It's a good 10 seconds up to Leclerc. But hopefully we'll be able to fight for the podiums with both our drivers. Might need to try and recharge Stroll a bit. But we'll see here where we stand. We have 13 laps to go here, and except for Leclerc, I think we'll have a bit of a fight here. Bit of a miss for me on the strategy. Probably we'll have to consider next season if we go just start on the hards. For now, though, we're going to try and keep Latifi within range, and we'll keep the fight going between Verstappen and Stroll. Going to recharge when we're in front, going to be neutral when we're behind. And we'll try and get energy for when the fights happen during the last few laps, of course. We'll see how that works out for us. We do have a safety car, though. So that could help. Again, the gaps here aren't anything that will allow us to pit, but it will close the gaps to the car in front, aka Leclerc. So this could be a bit interesting. Let's see here. Even if we do pit, it wouldn't benefit us in any way, shape, or form, I think. Yeah.
Take a look now.
Looks like another McLaren incident. Is Ocon taking out the... Oh, sorry. It's Ocon getting taken out. That's a bit different. Unfortunate day here for the McLarens. But this, again, does benefit us because we'll have fuel, we'll have a little bit extra tire life. Leclerc will still have a huge advantage on those mediums, still. So, it's going to be rougher to the end, but it's going to be interesting. Verstappen actually pits. Does he think he's going to be quick enough to make a difference here? Okay, we're going to stay on the hards. It might be a horrible idea. But I think it's our best chance, honestly, so... Because it is kind of difficult to overtake here. We are going to stay on the hards, and Latifi is going to have to defend like a lion. Because this is a very now interesting scenario. We'll be pushing fuel to the end, for sure. We'll have ERS, we need to consider what we want to do with that. Defend or attack. We could just let Leclerc go here. And focus on our cars and have them, you know, play it more in a safe manner. But I think what we need to do is just use ERS, try and keep up with Leclerc. We'll probably deploy with Latifi if he falls far back. But the goal here is pretty straightforward. We try and stay with Leclerc, overtake him if possible. And that's going to be the play here. And as you can see, Latifi's already kind of getting left behind here. We'll have him deploy. If we can create some gaps here to the medium runners behind us, that could actually be also big. But at the same time, Leclerc is going to have a big advantage on his mediums, and we're going to have to deal with that. We might actually just switch Stroll over to deploy here as well, because as you can see, he's kind of getting left behind now. We're doing a bit of defending against Latifi. But as long as we can stay within DRS of Leclerc, I think we do have a chance here. It's maybe not a big chance, but it is a chance. Currently, once again, Latifi is kind of getting left behind. Gonna have to deploy. I don't think that will be enough. Maybe, just maybe. It's gonna be close here. Actually, Stroll is also getting. Yeah, I think we can't bank on getting staying with Leclerc here. It just won't work like that. We are gonna have to do our own little battle here with the medium runs behind and just let Leclerc go, which is unfortunate, but it's just tire advantage, driver advantage. And our main concern now is actually going to be bringing these tires to the end. Pitting might have very well turned out to be the correct choice here. Having our two drivers overtake each other under DRS is probably the best we can hope for in terms of maintaining, you know, the lead. Well, not the lead, but, you know, the podiums. This is once again kind of a rough situation here to have to deal with, so we shall see exactly how this transforms, because again, tires are running low. We might actually need to tune down tire usage. 35, 34 will be just on the limit here of hitting that 30% mark on the final lap. We'll actually hit it probably around here. So I think we'll run it as is. There we go, Science is now getting in the mix.
Keep the head down, keep the head down. Don't know what we have left.
That is going to be bad for Stroll, but oh, go on. Go on, Latifi, be the man. Beautiful. Okay. Now Latifi's playing defense. We're basically in the first 180 corner.
Just gained by Williams.
But the tires are going to be falling off here, and potentially they might fall off hard enough that we'll have a, you know, a gaggle of cars ready to overtake us, and there we go. They are now falling off. Let's just go full attack to the end for both cars. Also tempted to just give Latifi the don't fight teammate order here, just to be sure, but I think we're good. Science is trying to make a move, but Latifi covers him off. So you're gonna... No, I did not send it. Okay, I think we're safe then. We should be, unless he gets a photo finish move. DRS keeps us safe. So, not the best race in terms of Leclerc. Leclerc won out big on his tire strategy. But at the same time, second and third, we'll take that. That is very good for us. Verstappen out of the points, which again, Verstappen is the bigger threat here. But we'll see. Leclerc might actually become, you know, that biggest threat down the line. Potentially. We'll have a look at that. Sainz scoring points, Magnussen points, Giovinazzi, Russell, and Aston. So 5 different teams, apart from us and the Red Bulls. Pretty good point difference there. Stroll maintains first, tied now with Leclerc. So Leclerc might become the bigger threat down the line, as I said. And Latifi now up into third. Very, very good. And in the Constructors, we are 5 points ahead of Red Bull. So we'll see if we can keep this up. If we can, it's going to be great. If not, it's fine. AlphaTauri, yet to score a point. And a bunch of movements there. Ferrari scores, Alpine scores. Very, very good. No development points, which we can live with. It's not super important. Underfloor manufacturing completed. We actually had a chassis too before this race, but it's a bit of a downgrade. So for now, we're just going to focus cooling into it. Underfloor has manufactured. We now have 4. We already got it on the car. Porsche has points. We'll put them into reactions, bring him up to 80. And then we'll just do what we have been doing. We could, of course, just turn him into a monster. So it looks better. But we could also do, as I said, balance him out a bit. And we might just do that. See how high we can get him balanced out. We are exceeding expectations. Board is happy. We have the Australian Grand Prix in 11 days. Current project, front wing in 2 days, so we'll have that for the next race. And I believe that is kind of cooling focused, we'll see. See here, this front wing. It is cooling focused, but it's also, you know, an upgrade. So we're of course going to manufacture it, 6 of them. And we'll have 3 of them. So we can have 1 incident, that's fine. Now we do want to start a new project immediately. So let's have a look at what we can do. And now I'm just going to check the warehouse. Because I'm kind of woozy. Again, this was the chassis I was talking about. It's identical except for high engine cooling. And a bit of a downgrade in its cornering ability. So we'll keep it as, you know, just an upgrade piece for now. That's the front wing. That's the rear wing. Side pods, I believe we are making. We're making side pods and suspension. Okay. So I think that means we do want to make another underfloor. My apologies if you can hear that. It's a beeping from my headset that's telling me I'm running out of battery. I'll switch it in a second. So I think, yeah, underfloor is going to be the play. And what kind of underfloor do we want to make? Because we're currently in the stage where we could just straight up make balanced underfloors and not really have any issues. And I'm thinking that might be the play here. But also, as you can see, we are getting quite high up on the expertise level. So let's see, if we made a low speed one, it would degrade a high speed one slightly, but it would be a huge improvement, 0.03. If I were to make, say, a high speed one, it wouldn't be as big of an improvement on the high speeds. It would help us a little bit under DRS, but it would move us forwards to just straight up the best car all around in cornering. So that could be the play. Then again, we could also just keep it balanced from this stage out, and in terms of stats, it's still a gain, but it mainly balances out the high-speed one a little bit here. So I think we'll be doing balanced underfloors, which sounds kind of weird. Optimized aero doesn't really help us too much either, so I'm thinking we do balanced. It's a bit boring, of course, but it's going to be probably the more helpful one in the long run. We kind of just need to start balancing the stats out, and balance will do that. There are ceilings you can reach where your progression becomes slower. So by running balance for a few iterations, that's going to help us, you know, make things a bit better. Now I want to check, because again, heat makes me woozy and it's very hard. Science Center is almost done here, just needs 14 days, wind tunnel needs 7 days. Factory's being refurbished, looking very good. Board confidence, they have high confidence in our leadership, very nice. Our development report. Again, we do need to work on cooling, we'll be doing that for sure. And again, the chassis here, we probably won't use it. It is a slight increase, as you can see, in drag reduction, and, well, no, actually the one we... Yeah, this is the one. It's an increase in drag reduction, but it will lower... Excuse me there. It'll lower airflow, so we'll see what we have to do there. I'll try and get most of these clips out of the video, but probably some of them are going to be left in, unfortunately. Yeah, let's head to Australia and see how we do there. We've had a couple of interesting races so far this season, and I'm liking it a lot. Once again, not the best qualifying we've ever had. Verstappen's still running a good 4/10 quicker than us. We now have both Gasly and Leclerc here running a couple of tenths quicker than us. Alpha being a bit of a surprise here, but they are actually very strong. Latifi down in 8th, he's still about 6 tenths off. So the car is good, but our drivers are, as I said earlier, our current limitations. So might need to power through a bit more. If we have a few unlucky races here, it's going to be bad for us. It is going to be raining though, and the rain is actually coming pretty late here. Could also be a couple laps into before we get potential wet, then into, and then potentially wet again for the last 3 laps, and that's going to be super wet. Okay, this is going to be really interesting, particularly this ending here. Look at that. It's just going to be... how long are pit stops here? Because this is a fairly short lap. It's just a minute 17. Yeah. Pit stops are 25 seconds. There is a decent chance of safety car. And as you can see, if this is virtual safety car, it's just 8-second time loss. So I'm thinking that we might start on the tie that just brings us there. If we start on the mediums, it will just barely get us there. Lap 23, 24. Yeah, they'll just barely get us there. But I think the hards are the better choice there. Now, the hards are going to be pretty slow. Particularly if anyone starts on the softs here. But as you can see, in terms of, you know, degradation, within 10 laps, the hards are going to be quicker than the softs. The softs degrade super quick. Mediums are a bit of a different kettle. It'll be about 15, 16, 17 laps. But at the same time, it's just 3/10. We can kind of deal with that. So what I'm thinking here is that we're just going to straight up start on the hards for both our cars, because it gives us flexibility, we can push a bit of fuel, because there is going to be a very lengthy rainy period after lap 22, 23. Starting on the mediums is viable, but again, I just feel like the flexibility that the hards offer us is better. The only thing else would be to start on the mediums and then go, you know, then we're going to have to play it safe, not push tires at all if you want to keep them alive to the rain a bit here. Particularly if we just get rid of this. Because this is when the rain hits 23, 24, so we'd have about 35 left on the tires. And that is without any pushing. Of course, we could have incidents, but I'm thinking we start on the hards. It's just safer. We can then go a little bit aggressive at the start. The soft runs are going to be falling off hard, so I think it's okay. Potentially start Latifi on the medium so you can get further up the track. Stroll is honestly good too, so medium here, honestly, medium here is probably the better strategy, but hard is the safer strategy, so we're going to go with that. We kind of just need to stay a bit, well, on course. So what I'm also going to do here is, because we have hit 70%, honestly, we could probably run these engines another race with no problems, but we are going to swap them out. Just gives that tiny little bit of extra edge as other teams' engines degrade.
Brace yourselves for the Australian Grand
I see medium, I see medium, I see medium. A lot of medium in top 10, so we're going to be about 3/10 slower.
And it's lights out, and away we
So again, it's going to be for basically most of the run that we're going to be slower. DRS is going to be our saving grace for the most part. And as you can see, we're the only top 10 team that have gone for the hard. The rest have all gone for the mediums. Latifi held on to his position. Well, he's trying at least to hold on to his position. He's got a Merc on the inside. Probably going to lose out then. Or is he coming back? Yep, came back at him. So currently, it's looking okay, honestly. So we'll just speed them along a little bit here. Again, the rainy period around lap 24 is when the fun begins. And potentially we could see the other teams pitting just before the rain, which is unfortunate, but it's just how things are. Now we are losing out a little bit, about half a second here on this first lap, so hopefully we can close that down. And once we get DRS, we're going to be swapping that ERS to neutral. We're going to still be pushing fuel for, I think, an extra lap, and then we're just going to try and stay put and basically try and take advantage of pit stops to get our
DRS enabled.
you know, the job done here today. For now, though, Stroll is potentially in a vulnerable position. We'll see. Might need to push fuel for a couple more laps there, because the Red Bulls are gaining that little bit of a gap there. That is dangerous. But for now, we do have a DRS train, basically the entire field. Also did set fastest lap there, so we'll tune it down. I'll try and keep it managed, because again, we don't want to burn off these tires too quick either. So we'll keep things going. We'll just try and stay put, regain some energy if we can. It's going to be difficult before the rainy period arrives. Here we are. Wet weather is now predicted in 4 minutes, but I do have a bit of a concern here. And that concern is the fact that this line is so low. This might actually still be dry tire weather, and that is my main concern, that it's going to stay low enough that we can run on the dries. And it's going to be light rain, and then we're going to have moderate rain, which I think will just straight up make it, you know, wet potentially here. So again, it's kind of, I do dislike that it's so hard to judge. We also have Stroll kind of falling a little bit back. We haven't really been able to recharge energy. It's been a risk that we've been just, you know, falling back.
So it's
Rain is now starting,
Copy.
so I should probably have jumped in. It is going up pretty quick here, so I'm thinking that we get probably just both cars here. We do a double stack. And the question that I'm going to ask myself here is very simple. Is it worth pitting for inters and then potentially wets? Or do we just go full wets immediately? That is the question here. It is still going up, so I think we are going to be respecting it and go inters and then the full wets. And I'm thinking that we might actually just keep Latifi out for now. We'll see though. Keep him out.
Seems to be quite slippery.
Copy.
You know, we're going to gamble with Latifi. We're going to put him on the wets. We're going to split the strategy here. And he's going to have to wait a little bit in the pit lane, which is going to suck. But it is probably the better strategy here.
Copy.
And because in 4 minutes, it's supposedly going to be very, very wet. So Stroll here coming out in, well, behind. He's ahead now, in front. And we do want to give that order to driving clean air, so we can get by the slower cars a little bit easier. And we'll of course give that very same order to Latifi. And we'll have to see if he can make the wets work here. This could also be very, very bad. Could be a huge mistake to put it on this early, and it already looks like it.
And dry weather.
Copy.
So yeah, we should have put him on the inters as well. He is holding up Russell though, so we'll see exactly where he comes around the corner here. Now Stroll is still running first. Did a great job here. But yeah, Latifi is kind of getting hung out to dry. But I don't see a point in pitting him just now. He's already kind of sacrificed. There's going to be more rain in a minute, and it's supposed to be wet enough then that wets are going to be the better choice. So again, hung out to dry. Not much I can do about it right now. It's unfortunately just how it's going to be. The wets did degrade a lot though, so it would have been better to put him on the inters first. We are going to call Stroll in now because that rain is going up pretty quick. And we're going to keep Latifi just driving clean air because it is getting full wets territory. And most of the others didn't actually pit for full wets. That's interesting. Stroll coming out in 11th. And Latifi actually has made it one place now, so
And a new position just gained by Williams.
we'll have to see if he can actually make something out of this. And again, it's not going to be very wet for very long, so it might be a bad idea to go on the wets here. Kind of like I did with Latifi. It's hard to judge. But for Stroll too, we'll just give him the good old driving clean air. And he should be quicker than the cars around him right now. I hope. But I could also just have ruined both their cars races here. And I think I might have. Yeah, if Stroll can get by Russell. Looks like we just might need to do the driving clean air thing again so that they actually do drive out off to the side to get by. You basically, by driving clean air, you're basically forcing them onto a different line, which allows them to easily overtake, which is a bit silly. So, but it is going back down. It is going to be inters again pretty soon. So I did kind of put Stroll in a very, very bad position, and I put Latifi in an even worse one. Basically threw this, pretty much threw this away at this stage. I'm thinking for Latifi, we just get him in, put him on the inters again. And honestly, we should just do the same for Stroll now. He is going to be slower than the cars in front, and you can already see it. We even had multiple cars crashed here, which might actually benefit us immensely. We're still going to have to make our way through the pack, even if it's a safety car, and it is. But at least we'll get the pit stops done. Do we actually have the Red Bulls crashing into each other?
Here we see Max Verstappen. there's the hit, and it's crystal clear.
Okay,
who
that was
in the
actually a
wrong
proper
there.
bowling ball. That's a bit interesting. Because if Leclerc's out... Okay, so... Verstappen and Leclerc, they both heard me say that, oh, this race is ruined. I made a huge mistake and just went like, don't worry, I got you, fam. And yeeted each other. So Stroll comes out in 12th, ahead of Verstappen, which again is the car we kind of want to beat here, so... I'm happy with this. The only question is, of course, if we're going to screw up again once we get to the end with the Super Rain here. But for now, it's looking rather promising. So we'll let the safety car run its course, and then we'll probably do a bit of an aggressive move here. Well, we'll try and aggressively move up the field. Just going to double check that we've turned off driving clean air for both cars. We have. Safety car ending.
Safety car in this lap.
I'm a bit unsure if I want to push fuel immediately, but I think we might as well. We're gonna, whenever we go on attack, we're gonna push fuel
Copy.
and go overtake.
Reduce the lift and co.
Copy.
So I'm thinking once Latifi is actually still pretty far behind due to my shenanigans. We are going to try and just make moves here immediately. That's going to be the play, yeah. Get up, try and get back up into points. The Alphas have a huge opportunity. The Ferraris have a huge opportunity. Rick's in a really good place. So yeah. We do have also fresher tyres than cars in front, although that doesn't matter too much. We are still going to try and, you know, make the best out of this, even though it's going to be a bit difficult. So yeah. That's the plan. For now, I'm going to try and fight my way back up. And I'll be back towards the end there. Seems like we're getting even more laps of rain.
Check my DRS.
Yeah. I might have gotten a little bit too interested in that rain. And got myself into this spot of butter here.
And there's an overtake from Williams.
But I think we can just recharge now and try and move along. Latifi's also made up a place. So we'll see where we're at once that Super Rain starts. And hopefully... we'll be back up into the points by then. We're getting closer to the Super Rain. As you see, just 4 minutes now. Stroll's made Stroll has made his way up to 6th, which is really good. He's just a couple of seconds behind the leader. Kind of stuck right now, so what I'm thinking is that we're going to recharge. 3 minutes until rain. Lap time's just over a minute. Basically half a minute pit time. So we're going to gamble on going on the wets here for the last 6-7 laps. And I think that is going to be the correct play. Now, when we go on the west, though, it's going to be a completely different matter. So I'm thinking that we actually just pit Stroll right now. Doing one more lap could work. But it's a gamble. But I think it's a gamble that's worth it. We don't really lose out anything compared to Red Bull, who are our main rivals. Of course, it would be great to get a bunch of extra points. But at the same time, I think this is a gamble that is... kind of worth taking. Within a minute, there's going to be a ton of rain, and that rain is going to put us into full-on, as I said, wets territory, and it has begun. The second Stroll came out of the pit lane. So what I'm thinking is that we're in the standard, we're going to immediately give him driving clean air, because he is going to catch up to people and then overtake them. Tires are overheating right now, Stroll. I do understand that, but that is because, well, the rain level has just started going up. We'll put Latifi on standard, and we'll have him go driving clean air as well. And we'll put him on neutral, and we'll see how this goes. So tires are overheating. It's not actually go full west before, so they might not pit this lap. Yeah, we could have pitted this lap and been safe from that manner. But this will also give us a chance now to see what is the difference in lap time here around Australia with torrential wets versus regular ones. And Stroll's already catching up to the cars in front here. 23 seconds down to leader. And they don't actually pit. Okay. A couple of cars pitted. I think they're going to win out big time. Now, we did get slowed down by, you know, a couple of cars here. But as you can see, 42s versus 35s. Well, they pitted, so I don't know that. No, they didn't pit. But this could very well work out hugely to our advantage. 5 laps, well, 4 laps to go. Stroll's up to 11th. He's basically caught up, and everyone is now pitting. Absolutely everyone. Putting Stroll in first, Latifi in second. Latifi might have to fight Magnussen, but at the same time, this is pretty huge. That worked out hugely in our favor, and I would really like to see the lap times without this, but let's see here. Let's take Magnussen's last lap time, for instance. Okay, in lap, so 38 on the one before when it became proper wet. And we were running 38 with wets and gaining. Like, we are a good 10 seconds ahead of Magnussen. We were 2 seconds behind when we pitted. We gained 12 seconds over 2 laps. So, with that in mind, I'd say we came out the big winner. Did screw it up in the beginning, let's be honest. And we did kind of get saved by the fact that it's super rain for the end. But that doesn't really change anything at this point. So the fight now is going to be Latifi versus Magnussen. Stroll's kind of just doing his own little thing. And of course we can go aggressive to the end here. Honestly, we could probably go full attack to the end here. Push a little bit of fuel. And that should make it way harder for Magnussen to overtake us. I should probably also turn off the driving clean air. So we don't step out and give him, you know, a free pass. Or rather, leave the line and give him a free pass. Lead driver last lap. Okay, let's put Latifi on defend. Let's put him on full attack. And let's have him go here. I don't think there's much of a threat that Magnussen actually overtakes us. And again, the Red Bulls here have been put out of contention. Alpha scoring good points with Magnussen is actually going to be pretty good for us too. Bit of an unfortunate day for Sainz. Behrman in 6th though. That's going to be good for him. He did pit a lap before the rest of them, so he definitely took advantage.
That's the flag.
And there we are. 1-2 in wet Australia. But once again, the weather did save us there. I made some huge errors in, water estimation. But we'll take this. It's actually pretty good. Magnussen 3rd. We're happy with that. Behrman 6th. Pretty impressive. And as I said, the Rebels not getting any points here is actually hugely beneficial to us. Alpha scoring, Ferrari scoring, and Merc scoring, other than ourselves and Alpha. Driver Championship then, Stroll has actually quite a big advantage. Magnussen up into 4th with that, tied with Sainz. Behrman up into 8th, and in the Constructors now we have twice the points of Red Bull, so that does put us handily in front. Point for Stroll, we like that too. And generally, I think the board would like this. Again, the performance incentives are things we just get. They are the automatic ones. Haven't used them this playthrough. And what we're going to be investing in here is reactions. Adaptability, well, cornering, and then we'll go adaptability. Again, just basing his stats a little bit. So we have the regulation changes here. It's airflow and drag reduction, or... Airflow, honestly, neither of these is a big problem. Because they both hit chassis and sidepods. Again, we don't invest much into those. So, honestly, I think the sidepods are going to be the one we want the least to get hit, if that makes sense. Airflow and drag reduction for the chassis is not going to be a huge hit. So, we'll vote for the other one. Wind tunnel, CFD upgraded. Suspension developed. And we're going to manufacture it immediately, I think. We're just going to have to look here. It's going to slow down our car a tad. Someone has made a huge low-speed cornering upgrade here. As you can see, we're now the 3rd best car. We used to be 1st. I don't think we want to put this on the car, honestly. I think we want to make one more, because as you can see, the brake cooling here has increased tremendously, a good 8% up. So, wait, we're still worse in class with that. So we're not going to manufacture this one, but we're going to, once we get an opportunity here, make another one immediately. And I believe that is the 3rd iteration of that part, though. So let me just check the warehouse again. Yeah, that is the 3rd one. So we're currently making underfloor. We're going to have to make rear wing. We're going to have to make front wing. And we're going to have to make chassis. And then another side pod before we do another suspension, unfortunately. So the cooling will just have to stay there for a little bit. We could, of course, manufacture it. Honestly, it's probably for the best. We are getting kind of slower. And the hit won't be huge. Let's face it here. That's not a huge hit. It's still a small upgrade. And I don't know why I thought we were losing turning. We're gonna do rushed. We'll have the pieces for Amelia Magna. And the increased cooling is just gonna make it so much better in terms of not having weird incidents happen. Now we could actually design a new piece, and I think we are gonna do that immediately. We're making these two, so rear wing, front wing. I think we're gonna make front wing. And do we want to make an optimized cooling wing again? Honestly, just making it as is with optimized cooling would put us back into first in everything when it comes to cornering. So I think we're just gonna do that straight up. It'll be fine. Honestly, I should probably move the engineers around for more efficiency of getting, you know, the parts done when we need them. But we're currently in a very good position here, so I'm being a little bit lazy. So please forgive me for that. Okay, we're about to see the results of the vote there. We also have another design finishing. Design center upgrade complete. Sidepods design completed. And car bar research unlocked because the voting has concluded. Now, as I said, we're going to invest in DRS Delta for Tondi because it's currently one of the things we're lacking. DRS Delta and drag reduction are going to be what we'd go a bit of a focus on. And we actually have one other point here for Jago, which is going to go into, of course, pit crew map. Excuse me. Pit crew management. And we actually have the scouting done on the two youngsters I found interesting. So, Pour in the Rain. But generally not the worst standard distribution ever. Honestly, this is fairly okay. Braking is a bit low, but that's fine. Let's have a look at the other one. Kamal here. He has 72 braking, 33 reactions. This is a Porsche clone by looks of things. Other than that, he's fairly balanced. This would actually be a very good pickup. Again, need to work on those reactions, but having 72 braking already makes him pretty good here. Honestly, I'll probably pick him up as a target. The design center upgrade has been improved, which actually solves one of my issues, which was, you know, designer efficiency. Well, engineering team efficiency. So let's get 4 more. And we will assign them to projects here. So now we can actually put 5 on every project. And of course we will. There we go. And we'll also have to have a look at those Sidepods we made. And if we're going to manufacture them, and we are, let's be honest there. It's an upgrade. It's actually going to make us the best high-speed team on track. It's going to give us a bit of a very big, actually a pretty big boost in terms of top speed. So these are going to be manufactured. We won't have them for the next race, but we will rush them. It's again one of those parts take long to make, so we'll rush them for the next race. Now I do believe in 12 days we're going to get more. It's going to go into the chassis. So what I'm thinking is we do make a side pod immediately. Could do rear wing. Honestly, doing rear wing is probably for the better. And I think we have once again reached the territory where just doing it balanced is probably the best option. It's not going to be a huge boost, as you can see. The stats here are pretty low, just 0.005. Same here, just 4 and 5 again. But it's going to be pretty good here for the dirty air part. So we'll take that with us. It's pretty good. Would love to again just have one that is focused purely on speed, which honestly this one kind of is. But at the same time, it just does hurt that low speed ability a little bit, so it's fine though. I think the other pieces we're making is going to make up for it. And again, it's just a very minor loss. Again, top speed is kind of what we're lacking, same with acceleration, so let's go for a high speed performance one. 5 engineers, we are going to push it on to intense, and we'll be done in 44 days. Yeah, this look good. We're actually gonna have once again a huge upgrade package on the same week. I did not plan this, but it's probably the best way to do things, honestly. It's been a long time since I actually upgraded the science center, so I'm just going to double check that, yes, you get the 4th project and the extra 5 engineers at level 5. Okay. I think we are ready then. A lot of things going on. Apparently also a vote here that I missed, so we are getting the sidepod focus changes. This is not what we voted for. We voted against it, but again, it's sidepod versus chassis. Sidepod is going to be more impactful. But once again, I don't think it's going to impact our team necessarily in any huge manner. Now, I am actually going to end today's episode here. As you've been hearing, I've been coughing a lot. The heat is kind of unbearable, and again, it's not even a lot of heat. It's just that I live fairly far north, and as a result, just when the heat starts hitting close to 30 degrees, that's when I start to straight up melt and not function correctly. And you probably heard that in the earlier part of this episode, because I recorded that during basically when temperatures were highest. I was very scatterbrained, couldn't hold on to my thoughts, and generally I was considering redoing that entire first segment, but I felt like that would be a tiny bit like cheating, so I didn't. It's just gonna have to be what it is. I apologize for, again, my scatterbrainness, but luckily we are going to have some rain this coming week, so I'm going to be trying to churn out, well, not really churn out. I'll be sitting down probably tomorrow. I now have vacation, no plans for tomorrow. I'll be sitting down, probably recording, maybe do a bit of a stream in the afternoon. We'll see. It's been a while, been a long while. Get the dust off the heart save, but we'll see. Maybe, maybe not. I am planning something for release though. We'll see. We might just do what Edstick calls the Dub the Hulk Smash Challenge. I think that would be fun, but we'll have to see how the teams are rated for F123, and probably within a week of the game release, well, early access release on 27th, so around the 20th, I'll release a poll and we'll figure out what we're going to do for our first game for 23. It's going to be a stream, and I think I'm going to be streaming probably for quite a lot, at least that first day. But yeah, that was all I wanted to get off my chest here, and we're gonna end the episode here a bit shorter, but I think it's for the best. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed, and I really hope to see you next time. Again, thank you all. Bye bye.